Good morning and welcome back to Questioning Scents with me, Matt. Hope you guys are well. We're all good, so no worries there. Very brief weather update today. It's a bit grey, but it's actually quite warm. Not really fussed about the weather at the moment because I'm very excited to talk about this perfume. The review today is for an absolute thunderous classic. Now, it's a fragrance that a lot of people revere. It's never really caught on to the hype train as some of the others from the house. But to me, this is, I don't know, I own three from this house, and I don't know which one I like the best, to be honest. I think this may well be the dark horse to steal it from the wonderful New York Intense, of which I absolutely adore. But today we're talking about Patchouli Intense from Parfums de Nicolaï. This is absolutely outstanding. Here's the bottle. I've only got a 30ml. I've said before, I quite like getting 30ml because it kind of dips your toe in before you make a big purchase on a bigger bottle. But this, certainly, I will need a bigger bottle of this. This is beautiful. So, should we talk a bit about it? I think we should. Right, okay. Patchouli Intense came out in 2009, and it's another one from the house of Parfums de Nicolaï. So the nose behind it will be Patricia Nicolaï. Now, obviously, if you've seen other reviews that I've done of other from the house, you'll know that Patricia de Nicolaï, she comes from the Guerlain family originally. She has a heritage steeped in French perfumery. She's one of the ones that's absolutely, she's a nose that's adored by Luca Turin. And she just absolutely knows how to make a fantastic perfume. So we'll look at Patchouli Intense today. As I say, it came out in 2009, and it's something very, very special. If we look at the notes, you'll see that it's quite a complicated fragrance. There's an awful lot of materials used in it. It's quite an extensive note listing. So Rich, prepare yourself for some typing. Okay, so first at the top you have lavender, you have geranium bourbon, and then you have orange. In the middle, you have Ceylon cinnamon, Turkish rose, patchouli, and frankincense. And then on the base, we have sandalwood, we have amber, we have vanilla, and we have bay oil. So, a lot going on there. Now, I'm wearing it today. I've been wearing it a lot. It's just divine. So, obviously, you know it's going to be a very positive review. Now, I am going to spray some for the purposes of the review, but not a lot, because as I say, I'm wearing it, and I've only had it on for, I don't know, maybe 2.5 hours, so it's still very, very potent at the moment. So I'm only going to spray a little bit for the review. And the reason I'm spraying a little bit is because it has a very, very sharp opening. So the opening to how the perfume develops are completely different. This is not a linear perfume at all. A quick moment to look at the presentation on this little 30ml bottle. Bottles are excellent. They come in a box. It's all very pretty. The packaging is great, but I'm not really into packaging. I am into perfume. Oh mate, this is a stunning fragrance. This is a very sophisticated fragrance, okay? So you need to understand that first and foremost. When you spray it, as I've just done, it's sharp and it's fresh, and it does hint to have a slightly old school cologne vibe about it. And it's magnificent. You get such an attack. Now, once it's almost, well, it is sharp, but the sharpness does subdue after about 10 or 15 minutes, and it kind of starts to become quite mellow. The lavender and the geranium are the drivers in this. Now, orange is listed as a top note, and I don't really get any orange at all, to be honest. I get a sharp sort of citrus note, which maybe that's, the work of the orange. And then there's almost like a hint of a boozy note behind it, which I'm assuming is the bourbon, but I've never heard of geranium bourbon. I've obviously heard of geranium, and I've drunk bourbon many times, but I've never seen the two combined as a note. So that's quite interesting. It's glorious. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is the most refined fragrance I think I've smelled in a very, very long time. It just oozes class. Now, I think the title of this perfume, Patchouli Intense, is slightly misleading. If you're looking for a patch bomb, this probably isn't going to be for you. I mean, the perfume may be for you, but if you're buying it purely to have a celebration of patchouli, you're wrong. What you're actually getting is a very, very French, sophisticated perfume. Now, you have to like lavender because the lavender is quite prominent. As the sharp, astringent opening, well, I'm saying astringent, but I wouldn't say it is astringent. We'll just leave it as sharp, shall we? So after the sharp opening, everything starts to warm up. Now there's very little sweetness in the opening as well. But as the other materials, especially in the mid, come into play, the perfume does sweeten up quite considerably. And then once those middle notes start to come into play, the patchouli starts to make itself much more prominent. But it's not a dirty patch. It's a very clean patchouli. It celebrates the essence of patchouli without any of the dirtiness, without any of the earthiness or that chocolatey vibe that you sometimes get. There's none of that in here. If you're thinking of sort of patchouli as a kind of a hippie Glastonbury festival, this isn't Glastonbury. This is a night at the opera. This is, you know, out at the theatre. It's a completely different kind of thing. It's more of a classical concert than a band in a field, if you know what I mean. And it's amazing. It showcases the notes very subtly. What you have is a masterful blend that doesn't let anything run away with it. It doesn't become too dominant in any of the materials that are used at all. They all get their moment to shine, don't get me wrong, and they're slowly revealed one after the other. If you take the sandalwood, for example, that comes in quite a way into the perfume, the life of this perfume, but the sandalwood is very soft. It's not one for, you know, if you're buying it purely for sandalwood and you're a sandalwood lover like myself, it isn't that kind of perfume. The sandalwood there is to support, comfort the other notes, if anything, and give that wonderful creamy base. But it isn't a celebration of sandalwood. The sandalwood is there to work. It's not there to be applauded. Very, very different to a lot of other sandalwood fragrances. Now, the Turkish rose is quite prominent. The rose and the geranium tend to take turns to shine. So the geranium is obviously leading the charge, and the rose there's like a relay where the geranium hands over to the rose and the rose becomes more noticeable, but it's a sharp green rose. It's not deep and sweet or luscious or anything like that. It's there to, I think, to provide balance, because everything, you've got quite a lot of creamy notes, but the perfume overall isn't a creamy perfume. I think what happens is the sharpness of some of the other materials that you used balance this out. So you have a very classy affair. It's absolutely delicious, but you're going to have to be a fan of classic French perfumery, because when you smell this, this takes me back to wandering around in France completely. It's an incredibly French vibe that comes from this. And if you've spent any time in France and you smell this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I think whenever lavender is quite dominant in the opening of a perfume, I'm instantly kind of taken back to France anyway. So that's probably where, you know, I'm probably a little bit biased, or my mind is kind of associating lavender and France very strongly. And this does give me a real French vibe. And obviously it's a French house from it has a very long French pedigree. So maybe I'm also kind of reading too much into that, I don't know, but I get a very French vibe from this. The amber isn't so much there. The vanilla is there to give a little sweetness. I don't really understand the bay oil. Maybe that gives a little sharpness to it, I don't know. But again, every material has been used to kind of bring something to the party, but also counteract something else. So what you actually do get is an incredibly smooth, well-blended and finely balanced perfume, which is a delight to wear. The performance on this is absolutely staggering. This is it's not a beast, but it's brutal in certain aspects, just in how long it lasts. It's like an MMA fighter that could beat the crap out of you, but then talk to you again about philosophy. It's like I don't know, as if John Jones has studied the classics for years. It's very, very difficult to describe, because you get such good projection. You get an enormous sillage to start off with, and then that sillage doesn't go away. You're in a bubble for like 10 hours. It just lasts at such a nice level. It never really drops off to become a skin scent. You're always aware of it. It's perfection in a bottle. I'm absolutely raving about this one because I absolutely adore it. What I've also noticed, I've worn this on a couple of rather hot days and it's not missed a beat. The weather doesn't seem to evaporate it from your skin or anything like that. It digs in and it's there for the long haul. The performance is staggering. I've worn it on relatively mild days. I haven't worn it on a cold day yet because I've not had it in the winter, but I think it's going to shine in the cold. But it just laughs in the face of heat. Nothing gets rid of it. It really, really, really lasts. But it's clever. You're in a bubble, more like a cloud than a bubble. It's a term I've used before. I'm aware of that. But that's exactly what it is. You have this wonderful cloud. The projection is quite strong. It never really stops projecting either. You're always aware of it, but the trail you're walking around, leaving this wonderful trail wherever you go. It's utterly, utterly intoxicating. you know, I could wear this every day, and I've got a few perfumes that I say I could wear this every day, but this one I genuinely could wear all the time. It's so nice. Now the problem you've got is, I think because this is such a smart, classic smelling celebration of a perfume, it suits being dressed up so well. I've got my wedding anniversary coming up soon, so I'm going out for the evening with my wife, and I'm definitely wearing this for it. I'm so looking forward to wearing this. You know, we're going to go to a nice restaurant, put on some nice clothes, and I'm certainly going to wear this because it's just, it oozes class. Saying that, I'm wearing jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt today, and it feels very at home wearing that, as you know, in that sort of get up as well. So I certainly think it can be, you know, worn dressed down. This would be absolutely perfect for work, but you'd have to moderate your sprays. Perfect for big nights out. I can't think of a scenario where I wouldn't be comfortable wearing it. So it's that kind of versatile. But seriously though, it does lean towards being dressed up. It's certainly one for the more mature fragrance enthusiast because it has that classic vibe to it. It has that smell of a French old house. It is, I think, more for the mature fragrance enthusiast. It would be a very brave young thruster that wears this. I think it's also one that is 100% unisex. This will smell fantastic on a lady. It will smell fantastic on a guy. Anyone can wear this. It's, you know, I can't fault this perfume. It is just a stunning frag. If you haven't smelt this, you need to. If you are after a dirty patch, this isn't for you. This is so refined. It's just glorious. I can't believe, you know, I've had New York Intense for a very long time, and I've had Cap Neroli for a very long time as well. You know, Cap Neroli is my go-to summer. If I'm not wearing Auto Parisi Burger Musk, then I'm wearing Cap Neroli, or sometimes I wear Beach Up Man. But they're like, you know, my three killer frags for summer. New York Intense can be worn anywhere. It's just perfection. I don't think you can, I can fault that. I don't think there's any, you know, I think New York Intense is a masterpiece, and I think this is too. And I know it's easy to say masterpiece and ban that word around, and sometimes, you know, I hear it used so often it cheapens the term. But I would say Patchouli Intense is a masterpiece. Maybe the only criticism would be the name. I don't think Patchouli Intense is a particularly good name for it. It celebrates patchouli and it shows it off, but there's so many other materials in this perfume that absolutely shine that I think I wouldn't know what to call it, but I think, yeah, if you're seeing it and think, oh, I love patchouli, which a lot of us do, and you're buying it purely for that, you may be a little bit disappointed. You won't be disappointed with the perfume because the perfume is absolutely outstanding, but you will be disappointed it's not massively patch dominant. The patch plays an important role and it is celebrated well, but there's so much else to this perfume. There's so much other stuff going on that it's not, you know, the patch isn't the star. The perfume itself is the star. It's one of these ones where I'm a bit lost for words because I'm aware that I've just spent sort of 10 minutes gushing about this perfume, but that's my job. You know, I need to convey my enthusiasm for a perfume to you guys, and I've not been this enthused by a perfume in quite some time. You know, there's a lot on my shopping list. There's a lot of perfumes that I want to try. I've got a ton of 8mm, 10mm decants that I want to review and get out there. But I had to put all that on hold just to get this out. If you are looking for something that's going to make you smell like an educated, sophisticated person, this is it. This is a statement. When you're wearing this perfume, you are making a statement about yourself. You're telling people that you're well-read. You're telling people that you're well-travelled. You're telling people that you are an incredibly sophisticated person. This just echoes all of those things. It's screaming class and it's screaming sophistication. Cannot say enough good things about it, so I will stop saying them over and over again. Listen, I'm sorry this has been such a euphoric endorsement of this perfume, but you need to try it. I think it's an absolute stunner, a masterclass in classic perfumery. But, and I have to say this, it is a classical smelling perfume, but because of the usage of the materials in this, it definitely feels modern. It has a slightly dated cologne style opening, but then everything comes through and it's an incredibly modern perfume. I'm a little bit blown away. Anyway, listen, I think I've gushed for quite enough. So Listen, have you tried this? You know, I have done a top 10 patchouli fragrances, which I didn't have this when I made it, but it would certainly be in there. Probably in the top 3, maybe even in the top 2. I'm not entirely sure. I may have to revisit the list and redo it. Although saying that, you know, overdoing the same video again seems a bit lazy and a bit cheeky, so I won't bother. I'll just let you know that this would be in my top 2 patchouli fragrances of all time. Fantastic stuff. Get a sample. If you've tried it, tell me about it. I can't wait to talk to you about this in more detail. It's featured on my Instagram a fair bit, and it's going to be on there a lot more because it will be a scent of the day all the time. So listen, thank you very much for your time, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. Plenty more coming, and we will get them out as soon as we can. So listen, as always, thanks very much. Take care and bye.